Empower your leadership journey with the CEO series. Whether you're at the gym, strolling, or commuting, our impactful dialogues with world-class leaders are just a click away. Immerse yourself in the minds of visionaries shaping today's most influential companies and innovations. It's not just an interview. It's a masterclass in leadership. Don't miss out. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and major streaming platforms.
Good morning, good evening, depending upon what part of the world you're in. If it's Friday, it is the CEO series where we bring together the most inspiring leaders from across the globe to share their career journey insights. And today I'm honored to have Dr. Hanan Al Mheiri, who's an award-winning Emirati mindset coach, celebrated leader and the visionary CEO and founder of the Hanan Empire. I love that. Renowned for her transformative approach to leadership, culture, and change and relationship building, she has built a career empowering individuals and organizations. Over 17 years of experience across diverse fields, her expertise includes knowledge management, leadership innovation, future shaping, recognized globally. She has received prestigious accolades such as the most knowledgeable woman entrepreneur of leader 2024 and the UAE's next Mastermind Award. She continues to inspire and transform lives through her groundbreaking work. And with that, I want to welcome my dear friend, Dr. Hanan. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Ron. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to see you again. It's been a while, but it's good to have you here. I was telling you early before we went live, when I sit at a conference and I hear speakers, sometimes I'm busy doing other things. And when
Yes.
we were at the entrepreneurs conference, women's entrepreneurs conference, and I heard you begin your presentation, I put my phone down. So that's always the mark for me that I need to shut up and just listen. And you were able to do that. So one of the key anchors of what we talk about on the show is that we ask you to kind of walk us through a short version of your career journey. You know, I read your bio. Your bio is here. Take us from here to get to that point and how you navigated that.
Sure. First of all, Ron, I am glad to connect with you after this time. And thank you so much for hosting me in the CEO series. I really appreciate it. So just to give you a brief about, let's say, my career journey or background, I started in 2007, but before that, like my educational background was around media. So I have studied my bachelor degree in applied media sciences, and I have specialized in film directing, which I really enjoyed. It's one of my passions, and luckily I am still using those skills in my business right now. I joined one of the government entities, Dubai Police. At that time, where I worked for 4 years, I learned a lot of lessons from them. I learned what is the meaning of collaboration from them, and also the discipline, to be honest. So they made me, like, they contributed actually to the character I am today. In 2011, in between, I studied my master's in strategic human resources management. Then I joined DIWA in 2011, where, alhamdulillah, my career kept progressing and progressing. Till now, I am with the DIWA. Throughout my journey, I have led teams. I worked with cross-functional teams. I had the blessing to work with different leadership styles, which I'm really so grateful for it. And through this journey, let's say May 2023, I decided to found my own business, which is Hanan Empire.
I love Hanan Empire. Absolutely. That's a cool name. So you're building it up for the future because I mean, as you start from here and you build it up from here, it will become an empire. So that's kind of positive branding. I'm going to say
Yes.
that's positive branding. So what was the defining moment just for you to say, you know what? Let me begin thinking about this empire and how am I going to put this together? What was kind of was there kind of a moment that caused you to start thinking of the next steps, so to speak?
See, for me, it's amazing question. But it had many different components. So, for example, what made me, let's say, a mindset coach is my mom. Because when I lost my mom in 2018, it was a shock for me. And I am the youngest among my sisters. I'm not saying that they love her less, but I was so connected to her. And honestly, like I had my round of, let's say, mistakes. I was always delaying the joyful moment with my mom. Like I was saying to myself, let me celebrate with her later. I'm gonna do the PhD and I'm gonna celebrate later. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna travel and so later will not come, you know. So after my mom passing, I was like in a shock. For even like in 2018, I remember I wanted to quit even my PhD journey because I felt like I lost kind of purpose. Why I'm doing what I'm doing? Like I had this kind of zoning, like what is really my purpose here. And I was really guided. I'm grateful for Professor Cassie Shan and some of my colleagues at that time when they really stood by me and they told me, what if your let's say if your mom give you all those values after her passing, would you يعني take off those values because she just passed away, or those values will carry on with you? I told
Yes.
them, of course, my values will stay with me. So this maybe gave me like the spark back to continue what I have started
Mm,
originally because I loved the topic what I was researching in my PhD, and that's what kept me going for 12 years.
really?
Uh, yes. So being a mindset coach and the healing journey that I went through,
Yeah.
and I was really in a miserable place. I
Mm,
wanted people to experience that. But the other component or part of the component and is the business side of it is when my dad he was always seeing me get coming late at home. He see my
yes.
hard work and he one time he told me, Hanan, if you do all of this energy in your own business, you will become a billionaire. And for a while I like I was, let me borrow my dad's belief in me. The last component is when I took the training courses and the coaching programs with the three coaches, which I'm really admire, like Coach Samira Ibrahim, Coach Dr. Nabila Diab, and of course Mrs. Becky McCall, all of them are really contributed to my journey.
Mm,
Um, so Miss Becky McCall and Dr. Nabila, they teach the teachings. One of the teachings they do is let's say the mentality of Bob Proctor. And I don't know if you know about, if you have heard about Bob Proctor. He passed away now, but he is a
yes.
Canadian mindset coach.
Yeah.
And he talked also about self-image. So during those coaching programs, they were telling us, you can be anything. And it's true, like we can be anything. So I chose to be an empress who built her own empire, putting
Yeah.
all those components to help people and also to have my own business and my own dream on the side. Yes.
So that was kind of the foundation of starting it out. But you know what you said was impactful to me. Later will not come.
Yes.
I'll do this later. I'll do this later. And we keep pushing it. I don't want to say pushing it off, but we're trying to say, I'm assuming we'll get to it. And what
Mm.
you're saying is do it or start the process of doing it, as opposed to there's not that opportune moment that's going to pop up and say, okay, now is the time to move forward. Is that what kind of the basis of your thinking?
It's true because see, one of the things also for procrastination, at least this is what I encountered as Hanan, is perfectionism. So for me in my tasks, even my PhD, like there was a huge delay because I wanted to make the model, because I had three complex models. I wanted to test them out, even though I could have graduated in 2016 and proposed the models for someone else to test it. But then I
Mm-hmm.
told my doctors, how come I do the models without testing them? Let me test them.
Yeah.
So for me, to be honest, perfectionism was my enemy for so long. So it's always better to get things now. If you have a goal, do it now. Don't say I don't have the skills. Nobody cares. If you
Mm.
want to open a podcast, open it now, even with low budget. If you want to do your own business, you can now in Dubai, because I'm based in Dubai. Like the government has made everything easier for whether expats or whether they are local.
It is.
Within
Yes.
1 hour, everything is set up for you. So
Mm-hmm.
don't delay, yani, in my opinion, because there is no later. There might not be later moment.
If you ever write a book, that's the title of the book. Later will not come.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have two books in the queue right now. This will be the third one.
So that's the third one then. Okay. So I'm behind.
Yeah.
That's the third one. You talked about self-image, and I find that when I teach at a couple of universities, and I lots of times there's a self-image imposter syndrome that people go through, and they feel confident, and then they don't feel confident. How do you coach someone that's in that stage of low self-image? I don't feel as if I'm there yet, and I'm kind
Mhm.
of waiting for an opportune time.
Okay, so this is really great. There is one book called Psycho-Cybernetics. It has been written by a plastic surgeon, and he did like not an experiment, but he was observing his patients. He observed that there were some patients, when they come to him after he does the surgery, they are happy about it and they leave the clinic and they are very satisfied. The other part of his patients, when they do the surgery, even though their relatives, their close ones, they are telling them it's amazing result and the surgery has been successful, they don't feel good about themselves yet. So
Mm.
the author has identified or discovered that there are two self-image, which is appearance, which is visible for others, and there is another one inside of me, which is my own self-image. uh,
Uh,
so what people usually have problem with is the inner self image. So what I usually advise people, please correct what is inside first before you try to correct your appearance,
oh
because
wow.
you will see also a lot of celebrities, they keep injecting and doing, and they become worse, not honestly prettier or anything, not to a better result, because still they don't fix what is inner.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and also Ron, يعني, through the coaching, because you asked me about the coaching, yes, in the coaching we teach them about how to let's say reach to their authentic self, which is the inner self image. um, because for example, for me, I am in a culture where it is very conservative, and so for me, I am conditioned in a certain way. Don't do it like this because the men will not like you and they will not marry you. Do this and do that. Don't travel alone because they will put it. But after I did this coaching, the right man will come to me as I am. He will not change Hanan, and I will not change him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we might develop and progress together, which is the ideal scenario. But you don't marry someone to, let's say, to change them, or you have agenda, yeah, about this potential. He is good, because you will be disappointed, and he will be disappointed in me.
Yeah.
So we take them through a lot of exercises in order to go to the core of their authentic self in a way that they will are able to enjoy who they are.
Mm. So you talked about the core, getting down to who we actually are, what we're feeling inside. So I love the story, and I want to get the name of that book of the plastic surgeon who's
Mm.
supposedly refocusing people, and they refocus
Yes.
people, and they still don't feel it, but it's down here. the
Yes.
core, and that core being is, I don't feel that. I don't feel that. So is your approach is trying to get people down to that core to understand who they really are?
Yes, of course, because for my, يعني if I am reflecting on my own journey, I was not authentic before. I
Mm,
wanted to do this to please this. I wanted to do that to please this. In my teenager days, I was pleasing my friends. After
yeah,
that, I was pleasing my former husband. After that, I was pleasing my family. I was pleasing my friends. But what about Hanan? Where is me in this
yeah,
equation? Like when I am gonna be happy? I am now 40 years old. When I'm gonna be happy? So for me, I decided about like let's say 3.5 years ago, in order, like, I wanted, I don't like this life. I don't like it.
hmm,
Like I had no any what we call it. I don't have any excitement anymore
yeah.
unless يعني the more I connect with myself, the more I was able to see the excitement again.
That's
And
so powerful.
it's not being narcissistic. No, it's about self love.
Self love. Okay.
Yes.
So one of the things you mentioned, but because I moved from New York to Saudi Arabia like 6 or 7 years ago, and there was a cultural dynamic, and I had to come from one culture and come into another culture. So you talked about the cultural aspects of. So I can say the cultural aspect of growth, because when I lived in Saudi, Saudi was Saudi. It's totally different now. So as you're working in different cultures, is it important to try and understand a culture as you're dealing with leaders or dealing with teams and managing people, versus coming in there because I have a mindset that I came from one place and I want to kind of pa- paste it over everyone else? Was that important in your coaching business, to have people to try and understand the cultural dynamics of?
See, for coaching, it's not very important, but let's say for me, because organizational culture was one of my core actually expertise.
Okay.
So for me, I offer trainings and I offer coaching. So coaching is a whole package. I take Ron as a whole package. I take you through all your life coordinates. Let's say like your love life, your family life, your so culture here is not very important. But
Okay.
when we talk about, let's say, if somebody wanted career coaching, it will be different because
Okay.
understanding his peers will be significant. For
Yeah.
me, I work in an organization where I deal with more than 70 nationalities. So it is very important for me to know the other nationalities. I need to know that I need to be kind, I need to be understanding, I need to be flexible, and I need to be agile and also be open. Maybe Ron, يعني maybe you started saying one sentence which I didn't like, but if I listen, I continue listening, maybe
Yeah.
you will start explaining more and more. And maybe I have a question, I have a doubt, then I can ask you, okay, but Ron, can you explain why this is important? Can you then, so of course, يعني it depends on the context. Of course, we are all affected with our national culture. Whether you are from US, UAE, يعني from any country, of course we are affected because we are living there. This is what we grew up knowing. But yeah, it depends on the context.
Okay. So you talk, and this, I go back to your presentation, the aura you had on the stage, the confidence level you had on the stage, and you built that up over a period of time. So walk us through that self doubt when you may not have been able to get on that stage and say, and just kind of get all the audience just kind of clued into you. What was that journey like to get that to develop the inner self on your own? Or
Mm.
maybe you went out and found someone to help you with that. Was that
See,
a
for
process?
me, Alhamdulillah, I had initial gift from God. I am a good communicator.
Okay.
I see myself as a good communicator. I am always activator. Like I can also see one of my strengths, I believe, and also I did a test with one of the doctors in our organization where he told me I play an activator role. Like I can diagnose the strengths of the members and I can get them together in a collaborative way. So for me, talking and presenting an idea to others was one of the things that I loved.
Okay.
However, about self doubt, it's about like how I overcome it is by practice. Even the people يعني, who are well known, they are still on the top because they are practicing. They are not coming and doing things ad hocly. Like, for example, for you, Ron, I am sure you have prepared like a script for the questions you have studied. You wanted for this episode to be amazing. You put thoughts. But imagine somebody coming to me. No, 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 I am expert. I will ask the questions as they go. Of course, it will be disaster episode. you know
Exactly.
and people will not get the benefit. So it's about practicing, it's about being in the thing that people desire.
Yeah. So I speak on stages across the globe, and I go back and think about coming through high school, and I had to give a speech, and I was absolutely positively horrible. I mean, heart was beating, voice was quivering, and all of that. And I said, I got to do better. I got to figure out a way to do better. And I kept putting myself through that until the confidence level came, and you begin, the self doubt tends to move away. The more that you do it, exactly what you talked about. So, could we advise people to face those fears that we have and just keep pushing on? You'll get better at it.
Of course, like for example, for me, I would go to a smaller audience, a smaller
Yes.
gathering, and
Yeah.
then start getting bigger and bigger as the more the confidence I get. And also, it's not only about speaking, like speaking about something you are passionate about. Like for me, I am passionate about leadership. I am
Mhm.
passionate about coaching, a mindset coaching, how you can live life like a royal, why we need to live in a misery where we can transform our whole life, so I think loving also the topic and how you are passionate about it will, like when you said, when you saw me, I was passionate about the topic and you were able to notice it. It's
Yes.
not that something that I studied and yeah, I'm coming to present a paper and go.
Would have lost all of it. Would have lost all
Yeah.
of it. You know what? I'd like to show the video a day if you can get a chance to set that up. The video of your first year anniversary with the Hanan Empire. So you can just let me know a day when you're ready to go with that. So let me ask one more question while he's going to that. How would you describe your leadership style for teams? You've managed teams, multicultural teams. How would you describe your style of leadership?
See, for me, to be honest, I've studied more than 200 leadership styles. So I wouldn't say that I have only one style, but I think the good leadership is the adaptive leadership. Like for example, I will never ever in my life treat. Let's say I have two teams, one team who are excellent, who are
Yes.
always proactive, and
Yes.
other team who is lazy. I'm not gonna treat them with the same leadership style, never, because it will, for me, it will not help each one of them. In front of the good team, it will seem that I am rewarding a bad behavior, and for the bad team, I am making them worse and worse.
Okay.
But as a general, leadership that I really love and connect with is inclusive leadership. So,
Okay.
inclusive leadership, what it means is that doing things with people rather than doing it to people. So you are including your team in decisions. You are including them in their point of view. However, this has two faces of the coin. Including the people is not always something that we can do all the time, and you don't have as a leader to involve them in every decision that you take. So you need to balance.
Okay. Like a toolkit. So you have a toolkit for this situation. I use this tool. This situation, I use another tool. Okay, cool.
Yes,
Got that.
yes.
Dave, you want to run that video? If we haven't queued up yet on this was your anniversary, I think it was. I think he's working on that. Just want to do a quick shout out to some of our frequent listeners. Ashok Gopal, who was on the last week, He said, Pete Sampras always said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. In other words, I continue to do it. And I also want to do a shout out to John Self out of Texas, as well as Peter Piccinini, who just moved. Peter, we got to talk. Peter moved from New Jersey to New York. And so we'll talk about that. Ade, do you have the video set that we can run that yet? Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I was in Singapore because I got your invite, and I was so kind of ticked off at myself because my schedule wouldn't allow me to attend. So thank you for that. So that's the first one. So each year it's going to get bigger and probably a little longer. But congratulations on the first year of your
Thank you. Thank you so much.
entrepreneurial journey. You talked about your mother, the impact. So you mentioned what happened and the impact that she had on your career. Who else was inspirational? You mentioned coaches. What were some learning points on your journey?
See, for me, from each coach, I learned something. If you allow me, I will describe each one of them. For example, Coach Samira Ibrahim, she connected me to myself, and she helped me a lot with my healing. And one of the amazing concepts I learned from her is that in order for me to pursue my life towards the future, I need to lift my baggage in the past and not take them with me. So she have taught me a great lesson is about forgiveness. Forgiveness, it's really and actually, for before I was always forgiving others, but the only person I couldn't forgive is myself.
Mm.
So I was really hard on myself, and I had to go to that little girl, Hanan, in order to be able to forgive her decisions, to forgive her on whatever she has done, because this was the best ability I was able to do the decision by that time. So that was amazing from her that I learned from her, and also she connected me to my spiritual side, which I don't think I was connected to it before. Um, from Dr. Nabila, I was able to be exposed to Bob Proctor's teachings. As I mentioned to you briefly, Bob Proctor is a Canadian mindset coach. And actually, during my PhD journey, I was determined to fly to Canada to take a course with him and take a leave without pay. But what happened? I graduated in March 2022, and he unfortunately passed in January 22. When he passed away, I cried. And even I don't know, I didn't know him personally, but I was following his work since 2016. So in a way, he also contributed a lot to the version of Hanan right now, because he have a lot of free materials on YouTube. So for anyone who want to start, there is always a way on how everyone can start their journey. Then I came across Miss Peggy McCall, who was also one of his, Bob Proctor's earlier students, and I was really amazed about how honest she is in sharing her stories. When I came to her, I was in my process of divorce, and I could relate to her story because she also was divorced, and she got remarried. And she always talk about it openly, and what, like, she was sharing with us her feelings as humans. So for
Hmm.
me, I was able to connect, and even with how she made her wealth, because she said, I come from not so good or not rich family, and how she made. So all of those things, those good great examples, and how they took me to the, let's say, to the safe shore, of
Yeah,
the sea,
yeah.
have has impacted my journey a lot. And I'm
Mm,
so happy and grateful that I have them still in my life, and that they contributed to this success that I am in today.
mm. So I know you're busy, with the corporate work and the empire that you're building. How are you giving back? You've had people that were instrumental in your life. What are ways that you're giving back? Because that's always important. You've made it. How can I reach back and pull somebody else?
Okay, so for me, in 2024, I have done 6 weeks, 6 week program, which was free, of course, and we had 20 winners who won. Those winners, like, I had around 85 people register in the program, but we selected 20 winners to have a coaching one-on-one with me.
Okay.
So I was giving the general session, and I was giving them homework, and they would have a work with me. So in that journey, they have transformed a lot. Thank God, I have got a lot of testimonials that this workshop has changed their way of thinking. So I am planning, inshallah, in future to do some smaller workshops as well, because this was really draining, and even the people were telling us, telling me that you should have charged us for this,
Yeah.
and it really took a lot of, honestly,
Yeah.
my time and energy. But inshallah, I am trying to do shorter versions for free, but also they can join my program, my
Yeah.
my different programs. And also, I am doing some collaborations with the entity, like, let's say, government entities who are supporting women who are, let's say, facing some challenges and they cannot pay for the training. I am open to that as well.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So if you look back on the amazing career that you've had, and now you're at a stage that you're reaching back and pulling people forward, if you could go back and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, wow. I always ask people this, but I never ask myself. Oh my God. I think many things. I think what we mentioned about the book, there is no later. Do it
Okay.
now.
Do it
Do it
now.
now. Don't delay things. Enjoy the moment, maybe, because for me, I am always concerned about the future. So, one of the things, or let's say the skills I learned to do nowadays, is enjoying the moment, not thinking about the past, and not overthinking about the future.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you just mentioned a term that I think about a lot, overthinking something. We keep going through. I coach a lot of people on the side, and they'll go through the litany of things, and I'll say identify three. They give me the three, work on them, come back to me, talk to them a month later, and it's still rethinking, rethinking, rethinking. And look, stop, stop. We
Mm.
can't have the same conversation twice. How do you coach someone that's in that continuous mode of just rethinking? I'm just consistently going back, and I don't want to let it go.
Um,
How do you help them let it go?
I think, like, I think I make it a rule for my coaching, to be honest. Come to me when you are ready to change, because then you will be wasting your money and I will be wasting my time.
Many times. Okay.
So for me, I am merciful, of course, of the people. But when I came to my coaches, I was ready. I was
Okay.
ready. I hated the life I am in. I was willing to do whatever it takes to change what my position. But sometimes, like, I think maybe you are empath like me, Ron. Sometimes when we see people who are sad, we are, okay, let's do this, let's advise them, okay, but it will not work. It will
Yeah.
never work.
Mm.
Leave people alone. The advice, when people want advice, they will come to you for advice, and here
Mhm.
you can support them. I know sometimes it's hard to see people going through mistakes, but this is their life lesson.
Yeah,
We need to just be there for them in order to be able to support them when they need, but
that's
without interfering in their lesson.
that's what I mentioned earlier. That's the free education. That's the education that's free, as opposed to going to a school and trying to understand it from that side. I love what you said. Come to me when you're ready. You've used so many phrases here that we could take on and build a whole entire course around. Come to me when you're ready to change, not before. It's best for
Hmm.
you and it's best for me, and we both get something out of it. I love that. I love that. If you
Thank
look
you.
back on your career,
Hmm.
what pivotal point are you most proud of? If you had to choose one, or maybe
My
two.
career. I am proud actually. There are a lot of things that I am proud of, but I think I would like to highlight one of the projects. So it was one of the projects that I am currently doing in my current with my current employer. So this, without mentioning names for the
Yeah,
privacy, but this project was initially initiated in 2011, and there was a lot of efforts in order to let's say restart this project, and no one was interested in the organization to take it over. In 2016 I was given this project, and then as the one, because my specialization, my initial specialization is knowledge management. So one of the things that we usually do is we do lessons learned to see from our peers what they have learned in order to be able to adjust and avoid, let's say, same failures. So all the let's say the feedback I was getting, no, don't collaborate with this, they will not help you, this don't communicate, don't do this project is dead. So for me, what I did, I thanked them, of course, for it. I noted everything, but then I give myself a try in order to go and experiment. Like I went for each stakeholder in order to tell them how they contribute, how is their value, what is really the benefit for the overall organization. Because again, this is government. It's for the government. It's not for
yes,
Hanan. It's not for you. It's
yeah,
for the overall. So sometimes people lack to see the organizational benefits because they want to be upgraded or they want to be promoted, but they don't see the overall benefit for everybody. Initially, when you do something that is valuable, of course, eventually you are going to get promoted with no, there's no option. Nobody cannot promote you when you are working, smart and you are working hard. Um, so for me, I really thank myself for taking this risk because Alhamdulillah, this project is leading. It won a lot of awards, and I have made a lot of, let's say, amazing connections from different parts of the organization. Our organization is a large organization. It's close to 13,000 employees. So I was blessed to get to know people. I am blessed to get to know to be exposed to different styles of communication, and all of that. So I think this is what I'm really proud of.
Mm. So, what are you most excited about for the future? The Hanan Empire. What are you most excited about?
I am excited about the journey. Like I am living every day as it is. I am always trying to expand on Hanan Empire. I'm trying to inspire also people. That's why I initiated my podcast. So my podcast is called Building Empires, where I aim to show people how they can build their own empire be, through showcasing different success stories.
So that's called Building Empire. Your
Yes,
podcast.
building empires. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good, 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 good. I think that's important because I'm sure. I noticed again. I go back to the speech that you gave, and I noticed people watching you on the stage, and I can kind of get a sense. A lot of people in the audience would love to be possibly where you are. You know, you have that, and people said, "Oh my God, I would love to be able to do this." And this is why I always ask the question, like, how are you giving back? Because it's important that people are struggling in a lot of cases with careers and all these kinds of things, and they have not found their true north, so to speak,
Mm.
as to what's next for me and how do I go, beyond that. And that was one of the key points that you kind of walked through that, but you didn't really expound on that, but you kind of walked people through that, looking where I am, and this is what we're doing, and I'm making this impact. So when you look back on your career, if there was a part of that journey that you would want to do over, would there be anything that you would want to say, maybe I would do something a little different, or it was all a learning journey, and I'm pleased as where
No,
I am?
actually, no. In terms of my career, I wouldn't change anything because I think every interaction, every experience, every manager, every team I worked with, every peer, every colleague, honestly, like I've learned from them a lot from every situation, even the bad situations where there was a lot of hard or let's say difficult conversations.
Yeah,
I am so grateful for it because
yeah.
they made me, forced me to explain myself. They
Mm.
forced me to be communicative even more in terms like, okay, we always communicate in the good stuff. Like, okay, Ron, you look good today, and okay, let's collaborate. This talk is fine. But
Yeah,
when you do something for me that really hurt me, or maybe it's not good with me, it didn't resonate good as colleagues that we are, and then I come to you, I tell you, Ron, the other day, I think you said this. I don't know, like, if you can explain what did you mean, or those
yeah.
are difficult conversations.
Hmm.
So for me, I am so happy about the level of maturity I reached today, and that it wouldn't be possible before. Like for me, I am also grateful for my leaders, like within the current organization, because they are always willing to listen. They are always like sometimes we even like if you come in between, you might think we are fighting, but we are not. Like we are trying.
It's all good love.
So that open mindedness is it's a gift if you think about it.
One of the key things you just mentioned, you said the good managers and the bad managers. So here's a kind of a Ron Thomasism. I say I've learned more from bad managers than I've learned from good managers, because the bad manager showed me maybe this is not the way to do it.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I said one of the things that I've learned through my journey, my career, is that I learned a lot from bad managers, because I learned what not to do. The good
Amazing.
managers
Yeah.
were cool. That was the gravy that came along. But the bad managers, oh my God, it was like a treasure trove of learning that you didn't pay for, but
Yes,
you
yes,
dealt with
yes.
it here.
I do agree with you. For me, I had both in my journey,
Yeah,
but I am again happy and grateful that now in my journey I started attracting better managers
yeah,
again because of all the inner work I am doing, and always I am open. Like I am always transparent about my feelings. I
mm,
remember one of my bosses, we were discussing something, and during the conversation, I cried. Like I told him, "How come you do this to me?" And I did this and this and this and this. And then he told me, "Hanan, you are crying. Let's close the conversation and talk another day when you are more calm." I told
yeah,
him, "I am calm and I am entitled to my emotions. And if I want to cry, I will cry. I am not crazy. I'm not a crazy person because I'm crying."
yeah,
So I think there is a lot of things we need to think about. Um, managers are human beings. Also,
yeah,
they do mistakes.
yes,
They are not angels. Otherwise, we would have been notified.
yeah,
I am not an angel, so I also do mistakes. But the key is the open communication. The more you communicate with others and let them how you felt and how you perceive the situation,
mm,
I think is the better that you narrow this gap. Like maybe my manager is here thinking that he's a horrible blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
I am here. But once we communicate, we narrow this gap in order for us to have one understanding that okay, this is not what I meant. I didn't do this intentionally. And honestly, with communication, everything works like magic.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Well, you know what? In closing, one of the goals of the show of the CEO series was that we wanted to bring leaders like yourselves to walk people through the real world, because we see you on the stage and say, "Oh my God, it was just great," and here. But I started here. I navigated
Mm.
here. I had to make left turns, U turns, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
difficulties, and you were able to stay on track. So, closing thoughts. What closing thoughts would you like to leave the audience with?
I think again, don't يعني for me, for any closing thought would be what I want them to think about what is their desire, what is how do they envision their dream life. If you are poor, trash this idea in the nearest garbage. If you want to become rich, you can become rich even if you came from root upbringing. Let's say if you are not married and you have a specific dream person in your, don't settle for anyone. Like everything is possible, whether you want this salary or you want this let's say dream job, or you want to open your own business. Do it now. Do it now and start, and don't let the community to shake you, you know. You can be there, you can reach there, you can because sometimes there is always limiting beliefs. We didn't talk about this point, but limiting beliefs is huge,
Yeah.
because we can take limiting beliefs from our parents, we can take them from our spouses, from our friends. So when you want, let's say, to do an idea, like you want to do your own business, don't take an opinion of your friend who does not have a business, because of course they will share with you, they will feed you with their limiting beliefs. No, no
Yeah.
offense. I don't mean
Yes.
any offense with their friends or their connection. But again, don't buy, let's say I want to buy G class. I will not ask somebody how did you buy it from someone who maybe have a smaller
Listen.
car or a normal or
Yeah.
second hand car, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think يعني I need them to write their goals, since now we are coming to the new energy of 2025. Try to write 3 goals and try to visualize them, and if they can do their own vision board, that will really help them to really manifest, let's say, the results that they desire for 2025.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving us this masterclass in your journey. I really appreciate it. We're going to close out now, but I want you to hang on for a minute, and I'll come
Sure.
back as soon as we close out. Thank you,
Sure.
everyone
Thank
who listened. This is our last show for the year, live show for the year, and we'll do rebroadcast starting on next week. And we'd like for you to share, comment, whatever, as it relates to that. I want to do a quick shout out to Tiffany. She says, I love this. Enjoy the moment. The phrase you mentioned, enjoy the moment. So you've got so many key phrases here that you've used throughout. So Tiffany says she loves that, enjoy the moment. So thank you, everyone. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever holiday you celebrate. And we'll see you in the new year. Thank you. Just hold on for a
Take the CEO series with you anywhere, anytime. All episodes are now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and major streaming platforms. It's not just an interview. It's a masterclass in leadership.